Hi there, this is Alaina from the Berwick Public Library, and this is my father, Keith, and you may recognize him from the library as well. He's been volunteering for about, I don't know, 2 years now?
I think so, 2 years.
Yeah, so he does all the plastic covering on all of the books at the library, so you've probably seen him around. And today we're doing Father-Daughter Book Club, which is something that we have done before, just by chance. If one of us reads a book we think the other one would really enjoy, we like to read them together. I think the last thing we did was a marathon of Ruth Ware books. We called it a Ruth Ware-a-thon. And this time we decided to, rather than just read one that we knew we liked, we picked out something neither of us had ever read before and read it together, but haven't discussed it yet, so I have no idea if he liked it or not. And it's The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris, and this is a really, really popular book at the library. I know many of you have checked it out before, so feel free to share your thoughts as well on what you thought of this book if you've read it. So we're not going to give any spoilers, we're just going to share our overall thoughts about it. And like I said, I have no idea how Dad feels, but I know it's probably killing you because he loves to talk about things as he's reading them. So he read it first.
Spoilers.
And it's hard to keep him from spoiling the book for me. So just a brief overview. This is a story that, I mean, it's pretty obvious just from the title. This is a story that takes place during the Holocaust, and we follow a man named Lale, who is from Slovakia, and he is there pretty early at the concentration camps. He volunteers to go, not realizing that's what it is, because he's basically told that every member, every family has to give a member of their family to the Nazis to go help work for them. So he volunteers to go on behalf of his family, and he ends up in Auschwitz. Specifically, he's at Birkenau, right? And he ends up becoming the tattooist there, and he gets special privileges for being the tattooist. He gets extra food rations. He has a lot more freedom than other people in the camp do, so he uses that to his advantage, and he is able to give extra food to the other people within the concentration camp, and he really, I'd say he saves people's lives.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true. Yeah.
And this story, which I did not know until we actually picked it up, is actually based on interviews that Heather Morris conducted with the real Lale. So this is his real story, but slightly fictionalized. So you do know that going in. We know that Lale is telling the story, so we can assume it's going to be okay for him. That's not a spoiler. That's right in the dedication. She thanks him for talking to her, so you do know that right from page 1. But the underlying story, I'd say, is also about him falling in love with another prisoner named Gita, and he meets her because he's doing her tattoo, and he just
falls in love with her.
So, and then
at
it's
first glance,
at
that's
first
right.
sight, yeah, and he decides that he's going to do everything he can to help her get through their time at Auschwitz. So, so a lot of it is just him trying to, get extra food for her, trying to find ways that he can be with her, and just keeping an eye on her in general. So, I should also say this is a really quick read.
It is
I did
quick.
not expect that. It's only about 250 pages, and it reads really fast. So Heather Morris, as we find out from reading like the epilogue and the about the author, she's actually a screenwriter, and she meant for this to be a movie, and then they adapted it into a book. And I think that knowing that, you can kind of tell.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a movie. Yes,
Yeah.
true. It can all take place in one spot.
It
That's
does,
true.
and it also well, let's just start. What did you think of it? Did you like it?
Yes, it was. Well, at first I didn't know much about. I mean, I know what Auschwitz is, but I didn't have never read a story about what had happened there and stuff. So it was kind of different to see it from that perspective. But it was just, I thought it was strange that somebody like him would almost be like the single only person doing this tattoo with his partner for all these thousands and thousands and thousands of prisoners that came in daily. I mean, it's like unbelievable that he was just given numbers and basically, next. It's like, it was unbelievable that it wouldn't affect you, which I guess it did, but I didn't. It's almost like he was kind of shut that off and just kind of worked like a robot and did it because he had to.
Like
but,
survival.
Yes.
Just did
the
what
things he had to
do
do to survive, and other people had to do things that you wouldn't normally do just to survive. But and he was like obsessed with trying to find this woman who he saw just as her face, and it took him months just to locate her again, and it was once he did find her, and there are little meetings behind doors and behind buildings because they couldn't be seen, and keeping away from the Nazis, and it was very interesting. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And
yeah.
I mean, I feel like I should know all this stuff, but I didn't realize that the prisoners in the concentration camps did some of the jobs that they did. I didn't realize they were doing the tattoos. I just assumed that
I didn't either. I thought the Nazis did that. I had no idea they were getting right.
Yeah, but it is him.
It's basically the Germans did nothing, and they used the prisoners for everything: the building, the cooking, the everything.
Which I knew. Like I said, I knew parts of that, but I did not expect. I didn't expect him to. Yeah, I didn't expect his job.
I thought it'd be like some German nurse somewhere doing tattooing in a hospital, but they're sitting at a table on the outside just doing it. Yeah,
like
really
a
primitive.
stick. Like it was really primitive.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that.
I also didn't realize how big it was. There's a map inside the book that shows you what the prison is huge, and I thought they're talking about, is it Birkenau is not the same place. They're like 2 miles apart, and they would walk back and forth, and they lived in one place, but the prison camp, they're both prison camps, I guess, but there were 2 separate places a couple miles apart, and it's interesting how everything all came together.
Right, like the Birkenau camp, he said, was where they sent the people that could do the physical labor.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess I enjoyed it. Out of what should I give it a rating? I don't know. I mean, out of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best book I've ever read, I'd probably give it an 8 or something. It was fine. It was good. It was different. I never read anything like this.
Yeah,
so
it's 7 or so.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it was good. I think it took me a while to. I think I liked it better as it went on.
Yeah.
Mainly because. I'm going to say it's because of the way she writes.
Yeah.
She writes very choppy sentences.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I think that it comes off as like a screenplay. It's almost like she's just giving their direction and then their dialogue, and that's about it. Right. There isn't really a whole lot more to it. It's very simple writing.
It wasn't a very in-depth kind of writing.
Yeah.
Not very. Yes, you're right.
I think it would have been better if it was better
written. If it was acted out or something. Correct.
So we didn't get a whole lot.
But it wasn't bad.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad. I think that if this is the only book you've ever read about the Holocaust, and there's far better ones to go with
probably.
it.
I don't know.
Or even just watching like Life is Beautiful is better.
Yeah.
There's other books, but knowing this was a real story, if I didn't know that this was a real story, I would have called her out and saying it's impossible that somebody could have survived all the things that he does.
Correct, right.
Because it was ridiculous. It's like this man, nothing bad really. I mean, even the bad things that happened, he was like, but I got out of it.
I know, that's true.
This is impossible. Nobody would have this kind of freedom.
That's true.
And, you know what I mean?
He did. He pretty much could do what he wanted to and walk anywhere he wanted to because he was the tattoo person.
Yeah.
He could actually basically... The SS told him, you have free reign to run whatever you want, I guess within reason, but it's almost like he was like, well, okay, I got fed just as good as anybody else. It's like, okay, it wasn't bad.
And I think that was my biggest complaint with it. Like, I still enjoyed it, but that this is not an accurate representation of what 99.9% of people experienced.
Yeah,
I
don't think so.
Yeah, not at all.
Because what he's describing is the other people that he sees are horrific compared to what he is. I mean, you're talking about people that are skeletons, and we've seen pictures, and it's like, that's not... it's horrifying, and this is not his life was not that horrifying from the way they portrayed it. So it's like, okay,
right. I mean, but it's still good.
It's good. It's good. Yeah,
and it's just I think that's what stood out to me. I was like, this
and being true, which is good. This actually did happen to somebody, so it's not like somebody made it up. So it's true.
If it had been made up, I'd have been like, this is just ridiculous. So, but
it wasn't bad.
Yeah, and there is information in the back that we both really liked seeing, that she tells you more. Heather Morris tells you more about Lale and about her interviews with him and what he was like.
Right.
And then he also fills in the gaps because he tells you, this is what happened to me after all this.
Right. And there's pictures in the back, which help. Now you can put a face. I didn't even look at the picture. I didn't even know there was any until the end of the book. I went, that's what they look like. So it's like, okay.
So he tells you what happens to a lot of the people. I mean, I hate to call them characters because they're real people.
I know.
But, a lot of the people that you meet in this story, he does fill you, or Heather Morris fills you in on, this is what happened to them. To the best that she could. There's some people that you meet and they just disappear one day and we never know what happened to them. Never hear from them again. And I can't give you specific examples to talk to because I don't want to ruin the story. But I'm thinking of one in particular. I can point to the name. Who just literally one day walked out and he's like, well, I don't know where that person went. And we never know. And that's the reality, is he has no idea. And I mean, we just assume that person didn't make it.
We don't know. That's exactly right.
But we don't know.
So.
But
It
yeah,
was good.
it was good.
It made you feel sad because he's looking at these huge crematoriums, and that's what they're building. They use the people that were going to get put in there to build them themselves. So it's like, wow, they had no idea, but he knew, and it's like, wow, I can't believe, living through that, but it was.
And he's there for.
I don't know, a couple years. I'd say a couple years.
I think it's 2 years. He does.
Yeah.
He does, and I think it's in April too that he keeps using as his marker. So I was like,
yes,
oh, this is appropriate that we were reading in April. But yeah,
it's interesting, and I won't give it away. But just the way it all ends for him, it's just so
that was
really, it
weird
was as simple as that. It's what you had to do.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay, well, that's good for you, but okay. It was interesting. So.
Yeah, just so many instances we were like, "There's no way."
Well, that
would
was
happen,
easy.
but
Yeah.
it
Okay.
did.
Okay.
So so it was really good. And there's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. That's spoilers that we'll have to talk about separately. But
okay.
but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it was
and
fine.
I can see why so many people check this out.
Yeah. I didn't know about it until Alaina told me. She said, "This is a popular book." I said, "Oh, well, the title caught my eye."
Right. I mean, if I had it my way, we'd be doing a Harry Potter readathon, but he won't do it.
Not doing that.
I let him pick out a couple options, and then I picked one from those.
Yeah,
and this is what I picked because I knew so many people had read it, and I thought that you guys might have something that you wanted to share with us about what you thought. And then if you have any recommendations of other books people should read, maybe about the Holocaust as well, or things that we should check out that maybe tell a more accurate story of what more people went through than Lale's experience, because that is very unique and not representative at all of what other people experienced, then definitely let us know. But definitely check out The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. And so until next time, happy reading.